Hey guys, this is Captain Fruit reporting for another episode of Road Rage. Road Rage are unscripted videos. Usually I'm either walking or driving. Today a little different. I'm in my office, my home office here, and I was, just checking out the news. And if you aren't familiar, I don't watch the Oscars, but there was a clip where Chris Rock makes a joke about Jada Pinkett Smith, I believe is her full name there, and Will Smith chuckled out, and I guess Jada rolled her eyes. Well, evidently that pissed Will Smith off, and he went up on the stage and smacked Chris Rock in the face. Now, and then turned and walked off. Chris Rock sort of shrugged it off and continued on like a complete professional. And Will Smith then decided to tell him to not effing joke about his wife or whatever, and Chris Rock's like, okay. So anyway, I just wanted to talk about this and a couple other things in there. And one is this is a problem with comedy. Comedy, you can't use comedy without fear anymore. Everyone wants to get all butthurt about it. It wasn't that big of a joke. He made something about G.I. Jane 2 or something, nothing that big, and it just ticked him off. I tend to wonder if Will Smith maybe has a drug issue or something that people aren't aware of, because that's a pretty big swing. Maybe he has a lot of other personal issues going on. There's been a lot of, cheating and all that. Maybe just something hit him right. Usually it's not the thing that causes the accident. The issue that arrives isn't usually the main thing. It's usually a lot of factors that lead up to that. So I feel bad, and I hope that Will gets help. And, Chris Rock didn't serve that. But here's the thing. What's that going to do for the rest of the comedy? Anybody else that does those shows and things, are you going to have to worry about somebody like Will Smith going up and smacking him? Because here's the thing. What would have happened if that was a white guy that went up and smacked Chris Rock? I mean, and then it'd be all over the news now about how racist that person was, whoever smacked Chris Rock. It's the double standard of today's industry, which is ridiculous. But since it was Will Smith, it was okay. There was no issues, and to just go and move on. But if it was a white person, in my opinion, this is not trying to be racist or anything, I think it would have been, the end of that white person's career. Let alone another thing I would be interested to see is, would Will Smith have had the balls to go up and do that if the comedian was somebody like The Rock or something like that said that? Would he have went up and smacked The Rock in the face? I'd like to know your thoughts in the comments below on that one. So that was the big triggering thing. So I wanted to mention that. It was just crazy. Anyway, I'm still reading the comics from last week's Wednesday haul. I haven't read through all of my pull list yet, but I did read some. I finished reading more of the Aquaman Green Arrow, and it was an okay miniseries. It didn't really grab my attention. I'm not going to recommend running out and getting it. It was okay. And that's pretty much what I expected from it as well. The DC series I've been enjoying, probably one of them I'd say in my top 3, maybe top 5 of DC right now is Robin. I read Robin issue number 12, and I found that to be the story's been pretty good. I've been liking the take on Damian, which is pretty fascinating because it was a character that initially I hated. I did not like Damian at all, and Damian grew on me, especially with the Super Sons. And I've been enjoying reading his solo run, so that's a long way. They've done a good job of converting me into that one. Now I want to talk about a couple more issues too. Task Force Z, I've been enjoying that series. They're at issue 6. It's different, I like Jason Todd, Red Hood. But they've been putting him in, he gets a lot of interesting series that he's put in. They're all over the place. He's running around solo. He's running around with a ragtag group. And in this time, it's a really interesting spin using the Lazarus serum and reanimating dead people, which eventually they can put them all back in place and fully make them regular again. I would assume it's going to happen with some of those characters eventually, but it's been a pretty interesting series. But I don't like how they're taking the Titans and several other series and throwing it, and like Suicide Squad, and throwing them all into this deal with Amanda Waller. That doesn't really do it for me, but if you like that kind of stuff, that's alright. I also read Teen Titans Academy. I haven't been enjoying that series. It's on issue 13. I really ought to give it up and let it go. I don't know. To me, it's been a disappointing series. If you like it, hey, more power to you. But 2 other ones I want to talk about. One good and one piece of trash. And let's first talk about the one that I think is really interesting, and that's Rogues number 1. Yeah, we got Leonard Snart getting some of the team back together with some other ones, and this is in the future, so he's a bit older now, and you're sort of seeing how Some of them have somewhat reformed or modified their life after a rough go of it, not being very successful, and starts putting the team back together to make one big major heist, if you will. And that's the steal from Gorilla Grodd, and it's an interesting take. I'm really enjoying it. The group of characters, they're getting a little bit of spotlight, so that's nice to see how they work together, and it's nice to see the rogues get a little more attention, even though we don't have all of them. But you see them at their, really a lot of them are at their low point. Some have tried to reform, some have somewhat reformed, but they're just doing it because what they have to, and some are really down and out. And I don't want to give it all away, because that's a book I want you to check out. I highly recommend to check out Rogues #1. Now, the book that was complete trash, and I haven't been enjoying it at all. I only checked it out a little bit, and I didn't even read the whole series, but I had to check out this issue, is The Human Target #6. First of all, I don't like the art style for this book. It just doesn't work for me. It might work for some people, just not for me. But what really I don't like about this series, and especially this issue in particular, is they spotlight the dysfunctional relationship between Ice and Guy Gardner. And Guy Gardner's a dick. Yeah, absolutely. And that's why we love him. But they turned him into an abusive ex-boyfriend. I'm sorry, but that doesn't make sense for a Green Lantern. Especially Guy Gardner. He would have done anything to protect her, and that's going overboard, and how they had him going nuts, if you will. They just really wrote him wrong. This story, I think it was Tom King, if I'm not mistaken. Terrible job on this. I cannot stress enough not reading this book. Also, spoiler alert. So I'm going to give you a countdown. 3, 2, 1. Okay, if you didn't turn off, you're going to hear it. They kill Guy Gardner off in this book. Yeah, Guy Gardner gets froze by ice and then shattered into pieces. And once again, completely written out of character for Guy Gardner. And this is a common issue with that author. I mean, we've seen the same thing with how he handled Wally West. Can this guy write a character without ruining him? I mean, think about how much did it take to rebuild Wally West after that conundrum, and they let Tom King, once again, I believe it's Tom King, pull the same malarkey again and absolutely destroy this character. I mean, it was terrible. I hated it. I don't recommend this. Now, maybe you enjoy it. If you enjoy this Human Targets series, let me know. Let me know, what am I missing? How am I viewing this wrong? Is there something I'm just not getting in this? Because reading this book, and this is why how this all ties together, reading this book, it's a Black Label book, so I'm guessing it's not, maybe it's not considered continuity. I would hope not. And it is Tom King, by the way. I just checked. It made me feel like Chris Rock after Will Smith slapped him in the face. I felt like Chris Rock reading this book. And so my thoughts are, why would I want to read this? It's really, they did Guy dirty. They really did. They did Guy dirty. Well, that's my thoughts, not yours. I'd like to hear your thoughts too. Once again, I do these videos just as conversational, and I like to hear your thoughts and views too. I hope you all have a wonderful day. If you like these videos as well as a lot of my other ones, I do have, you can subscribe, by the way. Definitely please comment. That helps in the analytics. But if you really want to help out the channel too, I have a Patreon as well as a Subscribe Star where you can contribute to either one for as little as $1 a month, where you get special videos that are only there, as well as special music tracks and things which you can use for ringtones or anything you want. You can even use them in your videos. You don't have to worry about it. I got that all covered, so you don't have to worry about any hits and strikes of that nature. So those are all available. I think there's 8 songs maybe in there right now in the bank. You just go there and you can pick whatever you want, download, and use them any way you want. All right, well, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Until next time, keep it frugal.